tapping. Tap into your purpose. Tapping.
Okay.
They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. We tapping into purpose. Purpose. We tapping into purpose.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Zay.
It's your boy Rashad.
And this is the Raw on Purpose podcast.
Raw on Purpose podcast brought to you by us, but for y'all, because it's about tapping into your real divine purpose while we facilitate great conversations and topics just to help you dive in and tap into your divine purpose and your specific talent.
Exactly. All those great things. The great things that make you you, right? We all believe that we're here for a purpose, right? And you got to be authentically you to fulfill that purpose. So today we're excited that we're in season 3. We've started this 2 years ago and we're still going strong. It's been a pretty dope experience. We had a lot of fun adding the video component to it last year, which was, again, super dope. We got a bunch of feedback, so we thank you for listening and subscribing. If you could, just go to all the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there, Raw on Purpose Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Raw on Purpose Podcast, and then you can find us on Instagram at Raw on Purpose _. Right? So yeah, we've been having fun with this, right? We getting back to it. So today we wanted to kind of talk about, and our focus for at least the next few weeks, months, or however long it goes, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurship.
Business, if you will.
Yeah, business.
Busyness.
Yeah, busyness.
Yes. Busyness.
Yes.
All that comes along with that. Because last season we talked about family business, if you will, community business, right? All those, things that come along with that. Now we're just dealing with entrepreneurship, which has to do with business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right? A marriage is, to a degree, a business. Yeah. You got to operate it like a business. And so, business just makes sense. And we're going to talk about, even the conversation of, not knocking people that don't want to be an entrepreneur and they're found, enjoy working 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You got to respect that because all of it is all a form of generating income to take care of their family. So we just wanted to touch on the entrepreneur piece of it because it seems like that's the new wave today. We're all talking about entrepreneurship, how to be an entrepreneur, how to grow your money, how to let your money work for you.
Right.
All those different things the pandemic has showed us.
I was just about to ask you, what do you think that did for people that were maybe even just thinking or, procrastinating with procrastination prior to 2020?
I think it just opened a lot of people's eyes to it. We had an influx of cash flood the market, and so people that didn't have the opportunity or didn't have the capital to be able to do something, they were presented with the capital to do something. Even though we're finding out some people are going to jail because of what they did with it, but some people were smart. Some people came up. And, kudos to them, right? Even for myself, even shouting out, we're sitting here in my studio in A to Z Creative Studios, which was birthed out of COVID, right? Or the whole pandemic. Yeah. So I think it allowed, some things got shut down and you just had to be creative. And what the pandemic did was just showed how creative we can be as individuals, kind of whenever our backs to the wall.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The resilience, the creativity definitely was demanded upon in those circumstances that we had to go through.
Yeah.
Definitely in 2020 and a little bit beyond. So.
Yeah. So as we, especially as we're kind of, they're saying we're in a recession, right? And most people are panicking and freaking out.
Wait, who says we're in a recession?
Well, that's what they say. The media, the government. From what the GDP and all that stuff saying.
Okay.
That's what they're. Well, everybody knows that's what's happening. Maybe the White House may not want to say it, but that's neither here nor there. But even if it's true, there's still a lot of money to be made in the midst of the recession. It's just
a lot of opportunity.
A lot of opportunity. It's gonna just take creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So before we even dive into that, can you tell the people what is an entrepreneur? What does it mean? What is the definition?
Right. When someone says I'm an entrepreneur,
yeah.
Like, what are they describing?
What are they describing?
In essence, right? Somewhat. So when we say entrepreneur, there's somewhat the definition, right? It's pretty much an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risk and enjoying most of the rewards, but processing, setting up pretty much the organization and the processes, or pretty much the idea from idea to actualization.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all entrepreneurs do. They take ideas from nothing, and either with self or with others, work with others to bring the idea to fruition.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's someone taking a God-given idea, like this. The chairs we're sitting in was an idea.
Yeah.
The panels that you see behind us was an idea. The mics we're using, the everything we see are ideas that were brought to light. Even the whole earth was an idea. Mm-hmm. It was the idea that God had. He just spoke and boom, there it was. Right? So we're able to see all of that stuff. Everything comes from a thought.
Right.
Then it comes from a thought to action, and then it comes to something that we're able to use.
Exactly.
So, and it's easy to become an entrepreneur. The challenge is maintaining being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's easy to start up and become an entrepreneur, start up that little whatever business it may be or idea, right?
Yep.
That's simple.
The tough part is the sustaining it, right?
Yes.
So for us,
growth and sustenance.
We're young entrepreneurs, right? So Rashad here, he's been in the fitness game for 10 years now?
Yeah,
right?
Over 2 years.
And then on the 5 years doing it more so for yourself, would you say about 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Diving in and doing it on your own, right? Which is a challenge in and of itself, right?
It is.
Because it's, I like to say entrepreneurship is a personal development course with a compensation plan attached to it, right? If you're willing to grow through some things, if you're willing to learn through some things, you can be successful as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's not, it's easy to become one, right? Because all you need to do, you just go get an LLC and boom, you can say you're an entrepreneur, right?
You can say it.
Yeah. Or
you can just be an individual with a business.
Because,
right.
And there's a distinction between the two.
Yeah.
I know some people.
I was definitely a self-admitted, definitely that before. Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
And that made me feel like an entrepreneur because I was given an opportunity to have a business.
Right. And there's so much more to it than that.
So much more.
But it's been a fun challenge, right? One of the things that, like, if we were to help people understand what entrepreneurship looks like, one, oftentimes it's not the most secure route to go. Right? Because it's typically, like, if you don't kill, you don't eat. Yeah. Right? Meaning, if you don't go out and do something, you don't get paid for it. Right? And it's all on you to do it.
It is.
Right? Compared to, like, you working a job, you go to work, other people are really responsible for the big decisions. Right? You just come in, they tell you what to do, and you do what you do.
Right.
Right? And at the end of it, you get a check. Right? And it comes every week or every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. As an entrepreneur, you can do the work, and it could take 30 days to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on what kind of business, right? Some people have a net 90 days, which is you give them something today, and they have 90 days to pay for it. Right? So some businesses are like that. Some businesses are, hey, I'm not doing the work until you pay me up front.
Yeah.
Right? Some things get paid right after you fulfill whatever obligation you had to fill as the person providing the service.
Right.
And sometimes you get got.
No.
Sometimes
you have to have, which will definitely end up going to more of the the juice of it, if you will. But you definitely have to have some grit, some tough skin, and be able to take some shots and some on the chin and some L's. Okay, because you cannot be a winner without knowing loss.
Exactly. and most entrepreneurs understand that a L is really a lesson.
Yeah.
Right. So like again, if you're working with someone and they don't pay you, now you know like, hey, I need a such and such up front. And then I need this payment before I give you this. Or I will give you this, and depending on if you can, so like, for me, I do video stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like you put a really big watermark that they can't delete off of there. Yeah. You put something on there to where then they can review it, and if they like it, they'll say, all right, cool, that's what we like that. You'll remove the watermark, but not until they pay you first. Yeah. Right? So you make sure you get your money and then you get them their product. Right? And some entrepreneurs, like there's some bad entrepreneurs, right? There are people that are out here trying to scam. So, it's the whole gamut. It's like there's just like anything in society, right? There's good and bad, good and bad people doing it. But from my standpoint, for me, I believe it's great. I enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. It can be stressful. Right? It can be stressful. It can be very, very tough sometimes.
Very much so.
And I just, I want to encourage people, like, prepare for it. Entrepreneurship.
Oh my God, you have to. I remember when I was in, and we'll get to this because we'll have a lot of stories because we've both been in business and seen a lot, experienced a lot, losses, wins, victories, all that type of stuff. But a business leader in a group that I was in years ago, about 10 years ago or so. But it makes sense, still makes sense today. We say your business will never outgrow your self-image. Mm. So if it's all about the conversation or the room which is within the head, you know what I'm saying? Whatever this is, the containment inside of here, that's it. So it's like if we want $1 million, $1 billion business, but we're thinking on $1,000 level here, it'll always hit it. May even go over it a little sometimes, but it'll always come back down because that's the limited belief. So these are a lot of things we're gonna be getting into, but that is so key because your self-image as well as your self-value, like how you see yourself and everything, that determines a lot. Your boundaries that you set in business, as well as the deals that you make, things you'll settle for, things that you'll speak up and say initially to make sure that you're good, and so that the business deal goes good for everybody. But this is gonna be good. This whole series, I'm looking forward to it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Me too.
I've been thinking so much about it ever since we brought it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and we're going to have guests coming in, sharing their experiences because, really, it's just about people sharing their stories.
Yeah.
People that have built big business, people that have started, people that have failed, people that have done it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Some people that may be afraid to do it, right? Some people that don't trust themselves or trust that, it can work out for them, like all of those things. Mm-hmm. And it's true, right? It all starts with your mindset. It starts with the 6 inches right here, right in your mind. Mm-hmm. You have to have a mind to be an entrepreneur.
Have to.
It's not something that you play with. It's not something that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, it can't be your hobby, right? Because hobbies don't make you money.
No.
Right, but businesses can and do. So it takes a lot, right? It grows you. It challenges you. It makes you. It makes you find out who you are.
Oh, if anything, it will definitely show you who you are. Because some people, I know if I've had my experience. I'm like, boom, when I hit something, and it shows me who I am. I'm like, I'm gonna go this way.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go forward.
Yep. I'm not gonna go through it.
This is too much for me.
And it's tough, man. It's a humbling experience because it will humble you.
It is.
Even if you get to a point of massive success, there's still something in it that can humble you. right? That it can easily be all taken away. I don't care what kind of business you have. You could be Amazon, Tesla, A to Z Creative Studios, Raw Energy Fitness, anything big or small. It can all be taken away from you, right?
Wow.
And that's
It's part of the risk.
It's the part of the risk.
Being an entrepreneur.
Yep. You can lose money and all that stuff. So it's but it's great though. I'm gonna keep saying it's great. It's fun.
So what's one of while we're here? What would you say? Because I was just thinking about this. What would you say is one of those benefits of being or becoming an entrepreneur?
One thing that it can do is give you some of your time back, right? Give you some flexibility. It allow you to allow your creative juices to really flow, right? It gives you a sense of ownership of something, right? It's a child that you have to help develop and grow.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, one of the biggest things is just the freedom, the freedom to work where you want, the freedom to make decisions, the freedom to do business with whomever you want to do business with. You don't have to do business with anybody or everybody. So whoever you choose to be in business with, just like your customers choose you, right? It's a mutual choosing. So I think that's one of the things. What about yourself?
As far as benefits, one of the benefits that I would say is that it's not only does it give you freedom to freedom of choice, freedom different things and whatnot, but it gives you opportunity, and not just opportunity, but the power or the power or the will to create your own opportunities instead of waiting for opportunities, right? And I think that's what separates the entrepreneur from the person who just wants to work for somebody. Once again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that at all, because somebody has to do it, and entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Just like working 9 to 5 is not for everybody. Everybody has a place to make this world go around. Yep. So yeah, I think that's definitely a factor, and benefit is definitely
I think even you saying that helps me, and then we'll definitely have this conversation and go deeper into it. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they become successful with their business and they're hiring people, that they forget that everybody is important to what they do. Everybody is important to the outcomes that come from the business, whether you are the CEO or you're the person cleaning the floors of that business. Everybody is important, because if you don't have the CEO making the right decisions, right, that can destroy the business. But at the same time, if you have no workers showing up to work, that's going to harm your business, because now you can't get items or things done.
Exactly.
And so I think we've lost that over time, especially here. We've lost sight of the value of people. We love to put the value in money, but we don't really value the human capital, the thing that God created, right? You think about money, God didn't even create money like humans did. We did, but we value something. Yeah, it's the system, right?
The system itself has almost created a whole different identity to entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, because of the basis and the reason and the motive that people even think about it. Yeah. Which is money. Yeah. Usually. Yep. So so doing business here in a corporation, okay? Yep. Not just a country, but come on, a corporation. They're already doing business a certain type of way, so they're showing you their way and their model of doing business. Though it may not be the best way of doing business, but that's how they have it. And yes, it's a game, and yes, if you're going to be in this country, you want to, be an entrepreneur, you somewhat have to play that game and make sure you're good You know what I'm saying? As far as like having your things set up correctly so that you don't get caught up in the game.
Yep. Because it's very easy to do, right? I guess even another benefit of being an entrepreneur is you get to set your own price, right? You don't have people dictating to you what you're worth, right? Because again, you get to choose who you do business with. So you put a price out there. If nobody, if people don't want to pay it, if this person don't want to pay it, somebody's willing to pay for your services. And so you get to set the price, right? And then you adjust it according to however you feel what you deserve. But again, it you have the flexibility to make that choice. You know, you don't have to come into a job and they tell you we're going to pay you this, and you're not going to have the possibility of making any more. Right. So
you have to ask somebody for your raise as opposed to an entrepreneur. You pretty much promote yourself.
Yep.
Literally.
Yep. But on the flip side, right? So you've been talking about some of the, doing the whole pros and cons. The other thing is you're either your own best boss or your own worst boss.
Yep.
Right. So you'll either give yourself too many days off, or every time you make a mistake, you'll beat yourself up about it. Yeah. Right. So it's there's a line that you have to kind of walk. Right. A mentor would always say you can't get too high or you can't get too low. You just gotta ride the waves. Right. And we've talked about this. Your business it's going to be like a heart monitor. Right. It's gonna have the ebbs and flows. It's gonna have to go, because if it's doing this, that means there's life in it. Again, once it flatlines, then it's dead. So there are going to be good seasons. There's going to be months where you're going to be making a killing, and then a drought's going to possibly come. But then,
and boy, do you learn through those rifts, those peaks and those valleys.
And it's important. It's important what you do with the funds you get.
That's what I was about to say. That because that's I know I've had my lessons with that, because that's the key part. Because the things are gonna come, and when you learn that in business, like there's times the money's just gonna come. And your mindset, I love it because it's such a test. It really is. Like, it'll always show you, because that's all money does. It exposes more of who you are, right? So it's definitely going to show you, like, all right, am I at the same state that I once was, maybe the last time that I got? A lot of business coming in like that, and when you realize, like, okay, man, like I'm more disciplined, and I'm going to like sit back. I'm going to put some here. I'm going to invest here, and I'm going to move a little more patiently and wisely with this. You realize your growth, and that's what you want to realize as you go into business, that you're growing and the business growing at the same time. You feel me? So it's very, very key. Yeah.
So if you're thinking about going into it, one thing that I'm trying to remember where in the text that it says, but it tells you to count up the cost, right? I've made the mistake of, like, I'm just gonna jump out there and I'm just gonna figure this out as it goes, and it almost made me just be like, bump this all together. So count the costs. Like, so if you're working a 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship is a goal, you use your 9 to 5 as your seed money, right? You use that to you save, you put some aside to invest in your business as you grow, right? Whether it's educational courses, whether it's equipment, whether it's taking classes or whatever it is, right? You take that money and you reinvest it in yourself. And then honestly, like, you working a 9 to 5 should help you understand how you want to run your business as well, from how you treat your employees, right? Because if you don't like how you're treated by yours, you don't become that guy, right?
Exactly.
I've worked for some. I've worked in my younger years, right?
Yeah, don't perpetuate it.
Yep. It's important that you understand that, again, everybody is valuable. So be mindful if you're going to take this leap. Make sure you do the studying, doing the research, do the saving, do the preparing. If you're married, have the conversation with your spouse, right? Don't just be like, hey, I quit and I'm doing this.
Right.
Nah, have a conversation with them, and then make sure you come to a common ground, and then just be prepared for whatever comes with it, whether it succeeds or fails, right? And just understand that failure is not the end all be all. It just means that didn't work. You have there's another day for you to do something else, right? So you got to consistently check your ego, consistently be growing, consistently reading, consistently putting yourself in places that people know better than you or know more than you. So many things that's important and necessary in this process of being an entrepreneur, because it's more to it than just saying I'm an entrepreneur, right? So much more goes into it, but you have to be willing to do the work.
You have to. One thing I'll say, it's kind of deep, but ain't really too deep. I think if any entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur, someone who just wants to be one and be involved in entrepreneurship, which is just a process of being an entrepreneur and carrying out things, is to study a farmer. Really study, because I mean, in a way, I kind of got this revelation maybe the other day. I was just thinking about it, like if anything God did, like He really, like, you know what I'm saying, like really took the farmer there to really do just that, to take things from an unseen place and make it into an actualization, right? And they do this over and over and over and over again. And because a farmer has to move very strategically, very premeditated.
Yep.
It's not like I'm just waking up today and I'm gonna start planting something.
Yep.
I'm gonna wake up today, or I don't feel like watering this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has vision.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He wakes up today with a very clear intention and vision in mind of what he has, what his crop is, how much he has, and he has to get up and check on that every single day as well. You can't have a business and like not check on what's going on the daily. For sure, you don't know what's growing, what may be dying, what needs a little attention, a little bit of this, a little that, what needs to be cut off, what if you have something in there may be choking the harvest.
Yeah.
Right? If you have intruders and, you know, rodents and things like that still in your crop, a lot of these things, like, you know, you can learn from, and these are just things of nature.
Yep.
All it is based on nature. So that's one thing we can, you know, kind of adapt and keep in mind. And one thing that I've always looked at is kind of like the Farmer's Almanac, and which has always been so interesting to me, because they base their when they plant their crops, when they do this, when they plant certain crops and everything based on the moon and things like that, right? Based on certain conditions, based on natural laws.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we have, you know, like in this system where it's not really based off of mostly things that are natural entirely. It is based off of laws. All those laws are natural, but that's another conversation. But yeah, it's when we look at the farmer though, like, we can learn so much if you just wanted to learn about just what it would cost you, because he has to get up. If he wants to start a new crop, he has to count those costs, like you were just saying. He has to, you know, really, you know, count his risk. How much more seed am I going to have to buy? What's my expected harvest of the season, you know, 3-4 months from now?
Yeah.
You know, he's running a business because he's giving it to the community. He's making a trade in some way, you know, somehow with the community to get it out to replenish his household. So, yeah, that definitely, you know, the farmer, that definitely, like, gave me that idea as far as that comparison with the farmer and an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's one of the best examples of what it means to be an entrepreneur. I also say again, marriage is another another idea or system that helps you understand business even more, because like especially if you're in business with someone else, you got to have a conversation and compromise, whether you have the majority ownership of it, but you still want to be able to have conversations with people that are working with you to get to the right ideas, right? You got to have a certain level of tenacity, provision, right? You got to protect your business, right? And your character is what really helps you protect your business. So there's so many things that you can equate to, like, again, we even said, like, raising a child. Business is like raising a child, right? Business is just as expensive as raising a kid, right? Because like one day Pampers can be $20 and then the next day it could be $30. You got to suck it up and just buy the Pampers. But it's just like if you have a product that you're selling or you're building something and the cost to get that material goes up $5, you got to make that adjustment too.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I'm saying? So
because the vision, whatever that vision, because we ain't stopping, because we're gonna fulfill this vision. Yeah. Whatever that is.
Yeah. So, but it's super fulfilling. So it's if you're thinking about it, definitely go for it. Find someone to coach you, train you, lead you. Yes. Like I said, we'll be diving into this for the upcoming episodes and series. Even talking about how relationships play in business, right? How a household should operate within a business, how a husband and wife how best friends can be in business together, the different safeguards you got to put in place to protect the friendship, right? To understand that even when money gets involved, it's going to create some possible issues. Are you mature enough and ready to handle those different things? So there's so many things that come into it, and we're going to dive into that, have different, like I said, we're going to have different guests. We just wanted to take this time today just to give you an introduction, to say hello, say, hey guys, we're back.
Yeah, we back. Like, we back.
Yep, we back. I know it's been a long time. It's been a long time, just doing life stuff, but really just planning and preparing for this next season and looking to do some different things and better things. So I hope something was said today to encourage you. Please, again, continue to tune in with us, subscribe, follow us. All the things are in the description. You can see down low if you're listening on audio. Okay, go ahead and say whatever you're drawing on the table.
No, I was actually pointing them to the...
Oh, you're pointing them to the...
I know, like, I'm drawing... I thought
you was trying to... Right, I thought you were trying to be like Jesus.
Trying to spell it out.
Right?
Yes, we're going to draw a line in the sand. This is the day that we make our final decision.
Right, okay. We're going to make our stand.
This is season 3.
Right, it's season 3. So yeah, if you're listening to us on any of the streaming platforms, again, you can find us on YouTube at Raw on Purpose Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Raw on Purpose _. That's RAONPURPOSE. And you can find us on Facebook. And we'll have our TikTok coming soon. So, But again, we got some great stuff coming for you guys. Again, enjoy your day. Enjoy.
And next time, not to interrupt you, we didn't go over this time, but we'll tell you guys why we started our entrepreneurship journey.
Absolutely, the why is always important.
Yeah,
it's the most important part of the whole journey.
Right. It's like it's the reason we're sitting here.
It is the reason we're sitting
in front of cameras and talking to y'all.
Right. Lights in our face and
Yeah.
So until next time, guys, it's your boy Zay.
And it's your boy Rashad.
And this is the Raw on Purpose Podcast.
Keep tapping in.
Tap into your purpose. Tapping.
Okay.
Check it out. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. They act as if we see, no hear, no speak, no evil. We tapping into purpose.